Alright, I'm watching how Trump 2.0 is radicalizing resistance moms with Jennifer Welch. Okay, so Jennifer Welch, this is on Hasan Minhaj. Jennifer Welch is the IHIP podcast, one of the IHIP podcast chicks. And then, of course, she's talking with Hasan Minhaj. And she was just talking about how they something stuff. She and I think she was saying a lot of people were just getting really PO'd about the Democratic Party. And a lot of people, basically, a lot of people were still willing to vote Democrat. But, I mean, we all know that voter turnout has been pretty much declining for years, for decades, actually, in this country. Pretty much because, here's the thing, voter turnout has been declining in this country for decades, basically because we functionally have two choices to vote for. And the big problem with that is that everybody feels like they only have two choices to vote for. Which sucks. It sucks when you only feel like you have two choices to vote for. I'd like to run, but I don't have enough subscribers, followers, whatever, particularly in my district. And I thought the Democratic primary was going to go on May 5th. To be more precise, the runoff for the Democratic primary, because they needed a runoff because there were three primary candidates that were too close out of the however many that were seeking for the Democratic candidate in this House district. So they had to have a runoff, and it's May 26th is the runoff. Not May 1st. I thought it was May 1st. Anyways, the polls are showing that this woman who basically won it the first time is going to win it, but I gotta wait for that. Let's see. I want to see what this female is about. See what she's gonna do. Yeah. I'm worried. I'm worried about the conservatism around here. I don't know how conservative this area is, how Trumpty Dumpty. There he is. So, yeah. But they were talking, anyways. They were saying that recently the over, I don't know how to paraphrase it, but basically the left is getting more left because Democratic leadership is sucking donkey balls. That's a paraphrase. And it's also true. And she's like, basically, which is also true, is that the pretty much over the last 20, 30 years, the Democrats had basically just been like, oh, in order to be a successful party, we're just going to have to be, we're going to have to be more and more center left, but more and more kind of center right wing, more and more corporate, and kind of chase that dragon of let's get money and stuff. My problem with all that is that chasing that kind of capitalist corporate greed thing. My problem with that is that it really doesn't fix any of the problems of a workable society. It just doesn't. It sort of works on a very small, micro, singular scale. Like for one person, you might be able to fix your problems if you're just like, how do I get more money for myself or my family? And then I can fix it on a single person, short term scale that sort of works, right? But on a society big scale, you can't think that way because it doesn't work that way. You can't just be like, oh, let's make some more money because, shit doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way because everything is interconnected. And when you're dealing with something that has everything interconnected, especially when it's this interconnected that everything is now today, you're going to have to have a way of dealing with stuff that is even more complex and nuanced and subtle than it would have been 50 or 100 years ago. And bombing the hell out of stuff is not very complex or subtle or nuanced. So I even taught my salt and pepper shakers. I bought pepper. I finally bought some pepper. I remembered to buy it. So good on me. And fanatical capitalists with their fanatical capitalism and ultra right wing profiteering and such does not deal with complicated systems and full ecosystems of civilizations. It doesn't handle all that shit. They only try to work with the uh, money component of resources, and that is such a narrow component of what you're trying to analyze and balance. And people, Americans, try to have economists on stuff, and try to use economists to narrow out and balance everything. It's like economists know dick. Economics isn't even really a field of science. It's a liberal arts study. They have math in there, but it's basically a liberal arts field of study. It's not a hard science. Just because they have math involved in there doesn't make it, you know. You can shove math into anything you want, and it doesn't make it. Well, so whatever. Ugh, I hate not drinking sugar. Drinking sugar is like, what is it? Ambrosia, nectar. I always forget that. Which one is the drink and which one is the food? I don't know. I can't remember which is which. Either way, Mountain Dew is life. I'll tell you that much. You should be able to buy it with food stamps. I'll tell you that. You know how I know you should be able to buy it with food stamps? Because if I were lifting weights, and I was powerlifting weights, I wouldn't want a protein shake or any shit like that in the middle of my workout. I would want a big 44, 64 ounce soda right there at the start of my workout and through the entire thing. Because a big thing of sugar water, that'll give me the power I need to get through my workout. At the end of it, okay, then I'll definitely want my protein. But I want that burst of quick, fast energy that sugar will give me for my workout. Maybe before I go in, I'll eat a nice bit of breakfast with some protein in there, But during the workout, I want a lot of get me going, get me amped up energy. Maybe I'll even throw in a little just to pump it up. I mean, I don't sound like I'm going into any competitions or anything where they're gonna be like, oh, cocaine is a hell of a drug. You know, just get it done. I'm not saying a lot, just enough to add a little bit of fun to it. And maybe sprinkle a little cocaine in the 44-ounce drink of soda. A little poppy dust. And not a lot either, by the way. Because, dissolving that in a soda, that, a lot, that'd probably make it taste horrible. But, just a little. Just a pinch. Just a pinch. That way when you drink it, you'll be like, I feel a little, not Superman, not Hulk, but like I got a little Wolverine-esque strength burst. A little +2 to my strength instead of, the Superman would be like +50. Look it up on your 3rd edition D&D. All right. All right, I think we've covered enough bases with Tangent Man here. I think I got some free merch slots now on my Avenue too. All right, everybody, and by everybody I mean possibly one person. Have a good day. Yay. Oh, that's right. It was I've Had It podcast lady and Hasan Minhaj. I think Hasan Minhaj, right? Yeah, Hasan Minhaj. Cheers with beers. Tax rich, kneecap rich. Tax wealth, not work. That's for Gary. Gary and Barry's economics. And boobs, lots and lots of boobs.